and thank you for taking part in this digital drop-in with Google and Parent Zone. My name's Chelsea and we've got our online safety expert Tim in the chat box too. Now we'd love you to share your name, maybe where you're watching from today, so do say hello in that chat box, introduce yourselves and don't be shy. Now, Tim and I are part of a team in charge of Be Internet Legends. Now, this is an internet safety programme designed by Google and Parent Zone to help children and families become savvier, safer and more confident online. Now, during the last few weeks, we've been asking parents what topics and what subjects they'd like us to cover in these digital drop-ins, and protecting personal information was one of the top answers. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. Now, this drop-in is one of several that we're doing, and we're going to have sessions on cyberbullying and sharing carefully. Now, we're always interested in hearing what topics or subjects you'd be interested in us covering. So if you do have a suggestion, pop it in that chat box. Now, the plan for this session is for us to talk about how we're teaching children to protect their personal information online. So this includes understanding why internet safety is so important and the steps they can take. Building super strong passwords because they're the foundation of good internet security, and developing healthy routines like checking and updating their privacy settings. We want the next 15 minutes to be as useful and as practical as we can possibly make them. And we know that some of the best tips and ideas are going to come from you sharing things parent to parent. So if you've got any ideas or tips, pop them in that chat box. I'll keep looking and share them with everybody. And also, if you've got any questions, pop them in there too. Tim is waiting and I'll answer some of them as we go along. Now, before we move on, I just want to check that everybody can see me okay. Now, if I look a little bit blurry, you can press refresh on your phone, tablet or computer, or you'll notice a little cog in the bottom right. Now, if you click on that and select quality, you can change that there and that'll help depending on whatever your Wi-Fi or your data can cope with. And don't worry about missing a thing because you can always watch this back later. So like I said, Tim and I are part of a team that have been delivering an internet safety programme called Be Internet Legends in schools across the UK for almost 4 years now. Some of you might have heard about the programme from your children, or perhaps you've attended one of our previous digital drop-ins. Now, we deliver really fun interactive assemblies like this, and then the teachers follow up with lessons that are part of a full curriculum in the classroom. And during the pandemic, we've been supporting schools, families and children from afar using the power of tech. Be Internet Legends teaches children 5 really important safety pillars. Now, these are a mixture of skills and behaviours that covers the most important things for children to remember when they're online. Now, this includes being sharp, alert, secure, kind and brave. Now, if you did want to find out more about all the pillars, check out Google's parent page. Tim's going to pop a link for that now in the chat box. The programme covers much more than protecting personal information, but like I said, that is what we're going to be focusing on today. I'm going to explain what we're teaching children about this, so you can apply the same approaches at home if you think that would be useful for your children and your family. So, let's get started. How can we make sure that children understand how to keep private stuff private? And what do we need to teach them about the tools they can use and the behaviours that we want to encourage? In Be Internet Legends, this is all covered in the Be Internet Secure pillar. So that is what I'm going to be focusing on for the next 10 to 15 minutes. As I've already said, the programme covers 5 pillars, so do check those out if you have more time, or you would be more than welcome to join us for one of our other digital drop-ins in the future. When we're teaching children to be internet secure, the first thing we encourage them to think about is what information is personal and what should be kept private. Now, this might sound really obvious to you, but in a world where children are used to sharing a lot and their favourite celebrities will be sharing so much information online, it's really important that we clarify and explain exactly what we mean. Now, there are some important rules that children should know, like never sharing their personal contact details with anyone, any strangers, or anyone they don't know offline. Now, this includes messaging apps too. They need to know to never share pictures of themselves that might give away personal information like their home address, the street they live on, or what school they go to. And they need to know never to share passwords with anyone other than you if you feel that that's important for you to know. And that can be a decision that you make together as a family. We talk about passwords in the Be Internet Legends Assembly because they are the first building blocks of really good internet security. So we think it's a super important topic for your children to understand. Now, we want them to know how to create a strong password and why they're important. Now, unfortunately, children sometimes share their passwords with friends as a sign of friendship, and this can often cause problems. We encourage children to think about why that's not a very good idea and give them an offline example that they can relate to. Now, in the assemblies, we say, in your house, you lock the front door and you have a key to open it back up. Now, you wouldn't just give this key to your house to anybody, would you? No? Well, this is exactly the same with your passwords. Now, it is a really straightforward message and one that you can reinforce at home with your children. And you might be surprised to find out that your child has already shared a password. And if they have, you can work together to create a new, super secure one. If they've had a Be Internet Legends assembly, they'll already know some tips and tricks to make sure their passwords are super secure. Now, this includes things like picking a unique word or phrase that is really tricky for somebody to guess. It's having 8 characters or more, and these characters need to be a mixture of lowercase letters, uppercase letters, numbers, and symbols. And we talk to children about how they can swap some letters in their passwords for similar looking numbers or symbols. So for an example, instead of using an E, you could use a 3 because a 3 kind of looks like a backwards capital E, or instead of an S, you could use a 5. Now, if you do have any techniques or tips of your own, pop them in that chat box and I will share them with everybody. Finally, on passwords, we remind them, as tempting as it really is important to avoid using the same password for lots of different accounts. I suppose in the same way you wouldn't use the same key for your front door and your car. We tell them it's a good idea to change it regularly too. So I know this is difficult, but it's a habit we should all be doing. Now, that is a lot on passwords, but as I say, they are the foundation for good internet security, and we really want children to understand them. Now, there are some more useful tips on passwords on Google's Be Internet Legends parent page, including information on a password manager that you might find helpful. Now, Tim's popping a link in the chat box for that if you did want to check it out. So, if passwords are the starting point of good internet security, what are the other things that we need to teach children? Oh, I've seen a question in the chat box. So Stella has asked, is it a good idea for them to share their passwords with me? So like I said before, that's a decision for you to make as a family. If you think it's important for you to know, then maybe that's something you can have a conversation about. And Tim's popped in the chat box, it does depend on your child's age as well. So that's something, if you think it's important for you to know, then you can agree that as a family. But as long as they understand, if they're sharing it with you, they shouldn't, as their parent or their carer, they shouldn't be sharing it with anybody else. Tim also says it's important for children to have their private spaces, especially as they do get older. So that's where the age things comes into it. Thanks for your questions, Stella. If you've got any more or anybody else has any more, pop them in that chat box. Tim's waiting and I'll have a look there soon. Okay, I've got some more now important messages on information that children should be thinking about. So we remind children to make sure they're logging out of their applications, especially if they're using a shared device, maybe back in school or at their local library, because closing the browser isn't good enough. We want to make sure that nobody can get into their accounts. We need to make sure that children's privacy settings are what they want them to be, and to remember to check them from time to time. Now, this could be really useful for you to do this with your child and maybe make it part of your routine, like perhaps you would at the start of term, checking their school bag, making sure everything's there. Just maybe every term checking their security and their settings on their websites and any pages they're using are exactly what they want them to be. And another one that children often forget is making sure they set their devices to auto lock. And then if their devices do get lost, people can't access any of their personal information. Now, most websites and apps will have these settings under the My Account or Settings options. Now from here you can adjust things like what information is visible on your profile, who can view your posts, your photos, your videos, or any other content that you share, and what content you can see when you visit that page or site. Now it's amazing how children can seem to use technology really, really quickly. They seem to be able to pick up any device or go on any site or platform and just be able to use it with like this, a click of the fingers. But it is really important to remember that children aren't always great at using the settings and the tools that are designed to keep them safer. Now, research does suggest that quite a big proportion of children will share their passwords or forget to auto lock their device. And considering that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is one of the most common passwords used by people on the internet, it's really good to help children understand the importance of good internet security now. And finally, there's one more thing that crops up a lot in Be Internet Legends, and that's reminding your children to talk to you, their trusted adult, if there's anything they're ever worried or confused about, or if they have any questions. And it's the final part of the Be Internet Legends code: when in doubt, discuss. Now this is being internet brave. It can be really hard for a child to talk about things that have happened online, especially if they've broken a rule or done something they've been asked not to do. But it is so important. Now, if you can get them into the habit of talking to you about what they've been doing online, it can be easier for them to be brave and come to you or talk to an adult and ask for help if something does go wrong. Now, working together to create those super strong passwords or checking those privacy settings can be a really good way to get those conversations started. Now, I hope that's been useful. I've really enjoyed chatting with you all today. Now, Google's Be Internet Legends parent page has loads more useful information on this subject area, and Tim's going to pop a link for that in the chat box now, along with the Parent Zone's website where you can find even more useful information. But that's not all. If you found this useful, why not come to another one of our digital drop-ins? Now, we're doing them throughout the term on subjects varying from cyberbullying to sharing carefully. Now, Tim's going to pop the link in the chat box for the timetable for you, and do share this with your friends and your family members because we want to spread the word of Be Internet Legends to everybody. Now, this is really exciting. Google, Parent Zone and Aardman are inviting you to embark on the Legends Family Adventure. Now, this is a 3-part animated series that follows a family of internauts on an adventure through Interland. And you can take part in the Legends Family Adventure at home by testing your online skills and giving chances to win some fantastic prizes for your child's school. Now, I am super excited for this, and it is launching in the next few weeks, so keep your eyes peeled. Parent Zone's Parent Hub has loads of fantastic, fun activities that are designed for families to do together. Now, there's something for every pillar of the Be Internet Legends code, from kinder meters to password poetry. Now, Tim's going to pop a link to sign up for our newsletter in the chat box, and if you do sign up, you'll be the first to hear when the Legends Family Adventure goes live, and we'll keep you updated with any new activities we have as well. And finally, have you played Interland? Now, it's a fab online game filled with challenges based on the Legends code. Now, kids absolutely love it, and they're really good at it too. Now, you could make this into a bit of a competition in your household, see who can get the highest score. Maybe the loser has to do dishes. Now, I'd recommend playing this with your children as well, because it can be a really good tool to open up conversations about this topic and all the different topics in the Be Internet Legends code. And it's really fun and really challenging for adults too. Mindful Mountain, I definitely can't do. So if there was a competition in my household, I would be doing the dishes if we were playing Mindful Mountain. Now, that's everything from me. I'm going to have a last look in that chat box. Tim has popped loads of really useful links in there for you. So do make a note of those and check them out when you have time. And finally, Tim's going to pop a link to a survey in the chat box. Now, it'll take you about 30 seconds to fill in, and we'd really appreciate it if you could spend the time doing that. It helps us understand if what we're talking about in these sessions are useful for you and your family, and if you have any other suggestions. And don't hesitate to get in touch with us. If you have any questions, do send us an email, and you can share some things to Instagram too. So maybe let us know who got the highest score on Interland in your family, or perhaps you want to share with us some password poetry that you create. We absolutely love hearing from families and schools and teachers, so please do get in touch. And like I said, there is no such thing as a bad question. If you do have one, get in touch and somebody from our team will get back to you with an answer. Gonna have a last glance in the chat box, nothing else there. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you all this afternoon. Like I say, I hope this has been useful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again, perhaps at one of our other digital drop-ins. See you all soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.